Hey, this is Josh with Seem Legit, and today we're going to be taking a look at this surprisingly powerful little camera, the Insta360 GO. Weighing in at 20 grams and being able to provide some very impressive shots, this new micro HD cam could be the split style camera killer that we've been waiting for. That being said, with some interesting quirks, who is this camera really made for? And is it worth the $170 price tag? Stick around and I'll try to explain. Alright, so we were sent this camera by Insta360 with the agreement that we would make a review. However, they did give us almost no instructions on the video, which is great and shows that they're really confident in their product. With that out of the way, let's get into this thing. If you're not into the 360 camera world, all of the specs are going to be wildly confusing. The super wide angle lens shoots in a 2720 by 2720 at 25 FPS in its high resolution spec. If that sounds strange, that's because it is. The way that these 360 cams stabilize is they shoot a super wide angle shot that's typically square. And then in post-processing, you can decide on the formatting, whether it be 4x3, 16x9, or strangely enough, in Insta360 GO's case, a 9x16 for those sweet, sweet Instagram shots. The GO also supports super slow motion captures of up to 100 frames per second, which is something that in a 360 cam, especially one this small, is pretty surprising. Additionally, the GO shoots time-lapse, hyperlapse, and static photos if that's your type of thing. These are definitely cool features that I do plan to experiment more with in the future, but I think the value of these lies more in the Instagram influencer type of user and less in the FPV community, other than maybe some stabilized long-range or build time-lapses. Guys like Mr. Steele, Nurk, and Joshua Bardwell might get some use from these, but I doubt the average FPV pilot will really find much value. I think this camera really got missed on its launch by the FPV community due to its short recording time upon launch at just 60 seconds per clip. Recently, they were able to boost the length up to 5 minutes with a firmware revision after realizing that cooling wouldn't be an issue with the added airflow of quads and airplanes. Now we get into the quirks of the GO, which there are a few, but overall I think they're pretty minor. First and foremost, I think the most frustrating part of this device is the way that you process the footage after the flight. This is the case with most 360 cameras, being that they're a very new technology, and there's not really a set rhyme or reason on how to edit this type of thing. Their app seems to be pretty standard, nothing fancy, but highly functional. After you have the footage saved to your phone, getting the footage off is a major pain. You have to export the footage from the app to your device memory, and then you have the ability to move it around to different locations, like posting it to Instagram or something like that. This in and of itself isn't really a huge deal, but only if you have lots of memory on your device. Uncompressed and unexported footage from the camera ends up being very large due to the lens's form factor, and from there, you'll have to use a computer to pull the files from your phone if you don't want to use the clunky export feature on the app. This, however, isn't really a con or a pro. The Insta360 video editor for PC really wasn't bad at all, to my surprise. Most of these freestyle video editors tend to be clunky at best, but I can tell that they definitely put some real time and effort into this editor. The camera easily connected to my computer with no issues, and transferring files was pretty fast with the included mini USB to Type-C OTG cable. That cable was traditionally designed to be connecting your phone to the camera, but it seemed to work just fine with my PC. The final gripe I had with the camera was the gestures in the app. I know this sounds pretty insignificant, but hear me out. Any other video viewer app like Gallery for Android, Google Photos, or Apple Photos all use left to right swipe to flip through the photos. The Insta360 GO app uses up and down swipes to progress through your images. This was a little funky, but it's not really a big deal. I can learn a new gesture, but the issue is if you swipe left, the app archives the footage, which I still don't totally understand, but nonetheless, that's how it works. And the biggest offender is if you swipe right, the app deletes the video. Now at first, I thought the footage was gone forever, but later on I noticed that the app was still taking up a lot of space on my device. And I actually found that there's a small recycle bin type folder inside of the app. It's more annoying than anything, and I think it's an easy fix that Insta360 could implement to make the app really awesome. I have a newer phone, being the Google Pixel 3 XL, and I've actually had very mixed success getting the camera to sync with the app. This definitely might be an Android issue because overall, it's pretty evident that this device was designed for Apple users, be being the lightning cable built into the bottom of it and the AirPod type design of the case. That being said, the Wi-Fi connectivity worked fantastically if you wanted to do things like changing output settings and whatnot, but being able to actually connect with the OTG cable between the device and the app was a little clunky. It seems to be things that, again, a simple firmware fix would improve greatly, but nonetheless, that is the current state of things. So finally, who is this camera for and why should you buy it? This camera, in my opinion, is changing the game from micro HD cams. Much like when the split style cameras hit the market a few years ago, and a wave of new devices and frames hit the market, like the B-roll from X-Hover or the Umagod Acro Brat started appearing. This seems like the type of camera that will pave the way for other micro-sized stabilized camera platforms and similar devices. 20 grams is shockingly light for a camera that allows for super creative mounting, like the third-person shots I'm sure you've seen all over social media lately. And for the fixed wing guys, you can pretty much mount this camera wherever you want. It's so light that it doesn't seem to throw off CG on most mid-size aircraft in any significant way. Also, like stated before, I'm going to be experimenting with the hyperlapse feature for long-range flight, cool building time-lapse videos, and just more content to add some B-roll dynamic shots to our productions. The Insta360 GO was definitely targeted at the influencer demographic on launch, but I feel that the longer recording times really helped push the camera into the FPV market. I think it's a great camera for the average FPV pilot, and especially for people interested in cinewhoops, sub 250 gram quads, or just a user looking to add a little more production value to their videos. Thanks again to Insta360 for sending us this camera. It's a really cool product that shows what their technology is capable of. If you like this type of video, feel free to tell us in the comments. And if you'd like to catch more videos like this from us over here at Team Legit, consider subscribing and follow us on all the social medias like Instagram and Facebook to keep up with all of our shenanigans. I'm Josh with Team Legit. Thanks for watching and stay safe.